Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's get into this. So, I want to talk about cracks in your pathway, right? So, yes, I get it. Everybody has good days, and everybody has bad days. Um, we can't get focused on those cracks in our pathways. You're going to see those cracks, and what you need to do is learn to hop over cracks, right? Yes, I get it. I get it, guys. We're going to have good days, we're going to have bad days. Everybody has them. But what you cannot do is get focused on the cracks in your pathway. You have a pathway. Don't worry about those cracks. Focus on your goal. Your goal is down here. That crack is right here. Okay? Don't let something prevent you from getting to your goal. Your goal is down here. Remember that when we have those bad things happen to us, the setbacks, people are going to mistreat us or make mistakes. Whatever the case may be, you may find that you have a setback or you have something that takes you off your path for a moment. We have a right. Every human being has a right to feel discouraged at times. They have a right to feel down. But what we should not ever do is get stuck in that area. So cry over it, fuss over it, talk to somebody about it, do whatever you need to do to move past it. But while you're in that state, what you need to be doing is coming up with your exit strategy or coming up with your plan, your strategy. How will you get past this? What will you do to better yourself? So we can't get stuck looking at the crack. And this is an example that I know of a lot of people that are going through. So there's a lot of people that have relationship issues, right? So I'm just going to use myself. I have been in a relationship where I wasn't valued, and I began allowing someone to mistreat me. And I started questioning my own value. And that's what happens when you allow somebody to repeatedly abuse you and you don't walk away when they do it from the beginning, is you begin to allow that type of behavior and it becomes the norm, right? But I'm just talking about myself. So I allowed somebody to start mistreating me, being dishonest, and, a slew of other things that were, not healthy in a relationship, right? And so at that point, I began to question my own self. I lost sight of my goals. I began to feel unworthy. You can never let another human being make you feel unworthy because you are a child of God. And so you are worthy of all blessings, and you are worthy of love and honesty and monogamy and maturity. You are worthy of all those things. So I want to say that. And then I want to say, in my instance, I got stuck staring at the crack. So what I was doing is my goals were down here, but I was focused on what was happening for me at that moment. I was focused on, wow, I'm really being mistreated. Wow, I'm hurt. Wow, this person is not being what they said they would be for me, and all of those things. I stayed there too long. And what happens when you stay there too long is your goal is moving. Your goal is moving because you're allowing those things to slip in and push you further away from your goal. So I know you're going to say, hey, it's easy to say you hop over those cracks and get to your goal. Well, I'm going to tell you I did that. So how did I do that? First, what I did was I made a plan, right? So sit down and get yourself a piece of paper and write out, start low. What's your 1 year plan? What is your 1 year plan? I had to write out. I did a 5 year plan from that point. Once I made the decision that I was no longer going to accept the treatment and that my value was way higher than what I was being treated, then I made my 5 year plan and I stuck to it. So that's the thing. To get past staring at that crack, you got to make a plan. So you have a right to definitely go through, and feel the way you feel and express it and talk to people but you cannot linger there. You can't linger there. And if you find yourself in a position where you are lingering in that spot where all you can see is the crack, all you can see is the problem, you cannot see a solution down the road. You can't see a solution, or you can't even see your goal anymore. You get to that point, I'm going to recommend at that point, if you cannot get past that, is that you get some therapy. Okay? Therapists are out here to help you, to give you tools and to help you to identify what your problems truly are, and move past it, right? But in my case, I didn't do that. In my case, I made a 5-year plan. First of all, I spoke to God and I said, God, whatever your will is for me, I know this is not right the way I'm being treated. I know that I have settled for way less than I should have. And why did I know that? How did I know that? Because if you're not healthy, so if you are mentally not able to focus, if you are not doing the things that you normally do, if you are, doing things out of character, if you are quick to respond to foolishness, you know what I mean? If you are not eating, if you are not sleeping, or if the opposite, if you're overeating or you're oversleeping, those are signs that you are not in a healthy space. Okay, you're not in a healthy space, and you need to recognize those things. And when people tell you, I had people to tell me, I had people to say, you know what? I used to see you, and I remember when you used to model and all of that, and oh my gosh, I thought you might have been on drugs or something because you got so skinny. Well, I've never done drugs in my life. Never done drugs. But I was internalizing things and damaging myself. I was not healthy. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating. I couldn't sleep well, And most of it was turmoil. It was disappointment in me. You can be disappointed in a person, but remember, humans are only that. They're human, and they're going to disappoint you. If you expect them not to disappoint you, I'm gonna tell you right now, even those you love, who love you to death, there's gonna be times when they disappoint you. And but what I did was realize that I was allowing certain things, and then I began to damage myself and hurt myself. Not intentionally, but I wasn't eating and taking care of myself. So once I recognized, people were bringing it to me, you're not quite doing the things you used to be, you're not as vibrant and fun and silly, and you look sad, you're not healthy. When people are noticing those things, don't be on the defensive, especially if they're people who love you. They're only letting you know what they see. So why don't you examine what they say to you? Don't say that's not true, or start making excuses, or be on the defensive. Take it in, think about it, and examine what it is they're saying to you. Could there be some truth in what they're saying? Are you looking in the mirror and seeing that you're not looking healthy? Are you recognizing you're only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, or that your mind is preoccupied when it should be on the goal? It's preoccupied. You're stuck on the cracks. You're stuck looking at the crack. You are stuck looking at the crack. You don't need to look at the crack. You got to get over the crack, because your goal is down here. And the longer you stay staring at that crack, sometimes your goal moves out of sight. You don't even remember what your goal was. So let's not stay stuck on that crack. So I'm gonna tell you how I moved through it. So I made a plan, right? I made a 5-year plan. Guess what? I stuck to my plan. You can adjust your plan. And I'm not saying that I did everything exactly as I had it written down, but I'm gonna tell you that 95% of what I had on my 5-year plan, I achieved, because I stuck to it. So some ideas. Heck, I was 30-something years old. I had no idea, my career path. What I ideally wanted to do when I was a kid was to be a pediatrician, and I didn't have a good math and science foundation at that time. I didn't have a stable home at that time. So, it's hard. Maslow's hierarchy of needs says that you must have your basic needs met in order to learn and grow and get stronger in math and science and things that you may be weak in. Well, I didn't have that. I didn't have a foundation that enabled me to grow in those other areas. So my second career choice was I wanted to go into broadcast journalism. So I wanted to be, like a news anchor. That's what I wanted to do, you know. Um, but as I had a lot of things that I was dealing with in my 30s, when I turned 30, my mom was beginning to get ill. I had things I was focused on. So I could not leave, and I would have had to left the area that I was in to go to some more metropolitan areas, some more progressive areas, in order to succeed in that career at that time. So I had to look around at what was realistic, what's in demand, what was in demand at that time. What am I good at? So make a list, a 5-year plan. Start from the bottom. So I knew I had to get education for whatever it is I decided I was going to do. So I decided I was going to go into nursing. So 30 is kind of an older age to decide that. If you guys are younger and in your 20s, that's the best time to get started with that. But let me tell you the good thing about nursing. They also take nurses that are starting in their 40s, and guess what? Even in their 50s. So shout out for nursing. But anyways, I decided at that time that I wanted to go for nursing. I looked up what was necessary, and I began taking courses while I worked full time, 1 or 2 classes at a time. However, I did start with a full load, but over the course of a few years, I began, plugging away at the prerequisites necessary to get into the nursing program. I also began by removing myself from the situation that I was in and moved to a healthier environment where I had love and support. Love and support does not have to be your family, it could be friends. Love and support could be a church. Love and support could be a counselor. Not love, but support could be a counselor or something like that. But you must remove yourself from the thing that has you staring at that crack. Remove yourself from that situation. If you've put some time in and you've not seen any resolution or you've not seen any positives, stop fooling yourself into thinking that those are coming, okay? You need to start making a plan for yourself. Self-preservation. Take care of self. Love self. God loves you. He means for you to love yourself. Don't you love another person more than you love yourself, okay? You love God above all else, okay? Then you love yourself, and the rest will come. And the rest will come. That's a long example, and I didn't want to take this much time, but what I wanted to say is make a plan. It could be a 5-year plan, it could be a 1-year plan, and then you can update it as you go along, as you achieve things. You can add more to your plan. Date them for when you achieve them. Treat yourself to something when you achieve them. So when I completed my associate's degree, I treated myself to whatever it was I wanted at that time. I celebrated. Pat yourself on the back. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. You pat yourself on the back. You did that. You did that, not somebody else. You did. Under all of those circumstances, stress and foolishness, you did that. You did it. Pat yourself on the back. You deserve all the credit for all the work that you put in. And every step, every incremental step gets you closer to that goal, but you cannot stand there staring at that crack. Forget that crack. That crack is just a momentary blip in time. Okay, it builds character. I'll tell you what it is for: learning lessons. That crack is there. It was some lesson you needed to learn. Identify what that lesson was. Ingrain it in here. Ingrain it in your brain so that you know if you come across that again, you can bypass it. Okay? If you come across that again, kick that thing on down the road. Whatever you need to do, understand that there was a lesson you needed to learn. You learned that lesson. You went through some terrible things. Yeah, you got a moment to cry. I had to call girlfriends and cry, and they had to come rescue me and all that. Once you get through all of that foolishness, make a goal. Stick to your goal. Skip on over that crack in the pathway, okay? Get on down towards your goal, okay? When you're bettering yourself and you're reaching for your goals, guess what? You okay, are going to develop and grow more in your own self-love. The more you pamper yourself, the more you educate yourself, the more the more you decide you're not going to accept people's foolishness, you begin to develop a level of self-love that is out of this world. And you won't accept less from other people. Friends, family, loved ones, boyfriends, husbands, cousins, aunties, teachers, employers. You develop a level of self-love. Love yourself. Cry, yes. Fuss, yes. Cuss, yes, if you need to. Move past that thing. Don't get stuck looking at the crack. Skip over that crack by making a plan and sticking to it. Start with a short plan, move on to a long-range plan, bypass those things that come into your way that take you off of your path. Bypass them, skip over them, remember the lessons you learned from the bad things that you went through. Okay, remember how it felt, remember what you went through, and then continue on your journey towards your path and towards your goal. Anything else is just noise. Anything else is distraction from your goal. Stay on your path. Don't let somebody take you off your path. Okay? There are people in line that are trying to do that. Okay? All right. So I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon.